Hello and welcome everyone. It's Michelle with some Michael Harding paints today. So I did a video with some of my Michael Harding paints quite some time ago, but not all of them. I think I've done several videos where I've added a few, but I thought because now Michael Harding is available in the States, I would go through all of my Michael Harding. So I've got 38 tubes of Michael Harding paints here. So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. They're all stored in this, it's actually a Van Gogh box that I got from, I got it from eBay. So you can kind of see, hopefully, there we go, it goes like that. But I've decided to keep all of my Michael Harding tubes in here. Most of my Michael Harding paints are, in fact, move that over to one side and make a bit more space here. There we go. Most of my Michael Harding paints are in this. There we go. Let's get some light on the subject. They're in this palette, which is my main palette. So most of them I will swatch from here, but there are some that are in this box that aren't in here. I just couldn't fit them all in. So, and they're probably newer ones that I haven't actually got the space for until I find a bigger palette for my Michael Hardings. So I'm going to move that off to the side and bring this in. In fact, if I move over a bit like that, I'm hoping that that will be big enough for us to see. If not, I will zoom in a little bit more. Let's find a brush. The paper that I'm using today, and I have had to split over two lots of paper. I just couldn't get 38 all on one page. But the paper that I am swatching on today is this Harnemule Andalusia rough cold pressed paper, and it's 500 GSM, so it's really quite thick. I'll leave a link to that in case anyone is interested in some nice thick watercolor paper. So what's happening with my light? It doesn't look so bright, does it? Let's just change it to that one and get it a bit brighter, like so. Right, so I'm starting off with warm white, and warm white is PW4, PW6, so that's two white pigments, and PY43, which is actually a yellow pigment. So let's get some of this warm white, and we will swatch that out. I'm not sure how well warm white will come up on the camera, because it is quite, there we go. I think you can see it's a very creamy color, and to be honest, I've been using it a little bit like buff titanium, which is called Titan Buff in the Michael Harding range, and it's PW 6.1. So let's get some of this buff titanium down. And this will be quite a nice big record for me to keep of the paints that I've got that are Michael Harding's. Our next colour is called Ochre Eclairs Lemon, or Limon. I think that just means sort of an icy lemon ochre colour. So that one is here. I just call it lemon ochre for short. So let's pop our lemon ochre down. I don't know that I'll be making these ovals particularly all look the same, but yeah, just for swatching purposes, I think this is fine. Next, we've got Turner's Yellow. And the lemon ochre was PY43. Turner's Yellow, and that is PY216. So let's get some of Turner's Yellow down. I really like this yellow. It's not as cold and bright as a lemon yellow. So I find it a bit more versatile. Then we've got New Gamboge, PY159. It looks like I need to refill this a bit, but, or have we got, oh, I've got another space with it in. So here we have there we go, there's our New Gamboge. Then we've got Yellow Ochre. And I think you'll kind of see the difference between the lemon ochre and the yellow ochre. The yellow ochre is quite a lot more earthy, I suppose. I really like yellow ochre. I've also got a yellow ochre deep. And where is that one? Right. That one might be one of the ones that is in a tube. That one's just yellow ochre. So is that one. Turner's Yellow. Gosh, you'd think it would be easy to find, wouldn't you? Ah. No, that's not it either. Perhaps it is here. Ah. Okay. Which one are you? Here you are. I found you. Yellow Ochre Deep. Right. PY43. This has got more of an orangey tinge to it, or tone. So I think you can see the difference between the two. Next, we've got Quinacridone Bronze, which has got 3 pigments in. So that has got PY150, PR209, and PV19. Believe it or not, PV19, dioxazine. dioxazine violet, I think. When I edit this, I will double check. About there we have this gorgeous quinacridone bronze. What it reminds me of a little bit is Daniel Smith's Aussie Red Gold, to be honest. Right, Bright Green Lake. Now, this is one that I didn't think I would like. But in actual fact, well, I'm going to be doing my kind of favourite picks this autumn. And this is going to be one of those colours. I absolutely adore it. Bright Green Lake, PY180 and PG7, which I think is a phthalo green. Then we've got Moss Green. Okay, so Moss Green is PY150, PB29. PB29 is ultramarine, and PR209. I'm gradually beginning to recognise some of the pigment numbers, but sadly I don't know them all. Then we've got Olive Green. Olive Green is PR101. That's a red pigment. PY180, which is a yellow. And PB15.3. I think PB15 is a phthalo blue. I think. You can all correct me if I'm wrong. I give out the pigment numbers because I know that some of you are really interested in what the pigments are. Okay, next we have Forest Green. Forest Green is PBR7 and PB15:1. So pretty sure this has got a phthalo green in it and another, and a brown, PBR brown. Okay. So it's a phthalo blue and a brown. This one, I will be honest, you do have to wet and allow it to activate a lot more than, well, virtually all of the others, really. I don't know why, but this one seems to need a lot more activating. There we go. There is our Forest Green. Then we've got Perylene Green, an all-time favourite of mine, which is a really dark green, but you can water it down. So I will try and do some of it a bit more watered down around the edge there. There we go. So the Perylene Green is PBK31, which is actually a black, pigment black. Okay. Then we've got Belladonna. Belladonna is PV29, which is a violet. PR112, which is a red, and PB29, which is ultramarine. This is a pretty colour. There we go. Now, let us find, because I think the next two are definitely ones that are not in my palette. Yes. So let's do Moonlight next. I can get this open. There we go. So yeah, this is not one that I have in my palette. So I'm just going to squeeze a bit out from the tube. So Moonlight is PG18. So that's a green pigment in actual fact. PB29 are ultramarine. And PR177, which is a red. And we will look at the granulation in some of these once they're dry. Next up is Purple Haze, another one that isn't in my palette. So these are newer ones, and I know that they are granulating. So this is another one that I will take from the tube. So Purple Haze. And to be honest, I think when I originally got these, it was terribly difficult to tell the difference. Oh, now I can tell the difference. Okay. So, Purple Haze is PG18, PB29. So it's exactly the same first two pigments as Moonlight, but then it's got PO73. It's got an orange pigment in it, whereas Moonlight has got a red pigment in it. So that is our difference, and we'll see how different they are when they dry. But they are both very granulating colours. So let's go to Lavender. Lavender, what have we got in Lavender? Well, we've got PW6, which is a white, PV15, which is a violet, and we've got PB29, which is ultramarine. So Lavender is actually, because it's got PW6 in it, is that titanium white? Possibly. It's a little bit more opaque, definitely, than most of the others. Titan Buff is quite opaque as well. Right, let's move on to Cobalt Teal. Another one of my favourites. And this is just a single pigment, PG50. I love a cobalt teal. It's a happy colour, I think. There we go. There is our cobalt teal. Next up, Vivid Blue. Vivid Blue. Now, this one has actually got 4 pigments in it, believe it or not. And it's another opaque one, and it's got a white in it. So it's got PW4, which is your white, PW6, so it's got 2 whites, PB15, which I'm pretty sure is the phthalo blue, and PG7, which I think is phthalo green. So there is our Vivid Blue, and I think you can see that that's another fairly opaque one if you look at the Titan Buff, the Lavender, and the Vivid Blue. Right, then we've got Blue Verdita. Pretty colour. Blue Verdita is PB28, Cobalt Blue, PW4 and PB26. No, 36, sorry. There's our blue verditer. Lapis lazuli, where are you? There you are, up here. Now this is a natural pigment, and I haven't pre-wet any of these, and I haven't used these today. So most of them are activating pretty nicely. Even this, which is a natural pigment. There we go. Lapis lazuli. Next up, we've got Cobalt Blue Deep. Cobalt Blue Deep is, on this one, is PB74. There is our Cobalt Deep. Ultramarine. Ultramarine, here you are. Which is PB29. There we go, there is our ultramarine. Right, now this one I know is not in my palette. Phthalo Blue Lake. So I'll just squeeze a bit out of this tube. So PB15:3. You can definitely see that's a phthalo. The phthalo blues and phthalo greens are really good mixing colours. There we go. There is our Phthalo Blue Lake. PB15:3. Let's move on to indigo. And indigo is PV19, which I'm pretty sure is Dark-Sazine Violet. PBK6, which is a black. And PB15:3. So it's got Phthalo Blue Lake in it, basically. The reason that most indigos are made up of other pigments is because the actual indigo pigment is not very light fast. So a lot of companies will mix colours together to make their indigo. What else? We've got Cosmic Blue coming up. Right, Cosmic Blue is over here. Cosmic Blue is PBK11, black, PB15:1. So we've got another phthalo blue in here. It's kind of almost an alternative for indigo. Right, I'm going to let that one dry while we move on to the other colours. So next up, we have got Red Ochre of France. And that is PR102. followed by Burnt Sienna, which is here, PR 101. So you can see why quite often when I use Red Ochre of France, I say to you, you could substitute this for Burnt Sienna because they are quite close in colour and pigment. There we go. Earth of Cyprus, where are you? You're down here. Earth of Cyprus is PBR 7. This is a lovely rich brown. Right, then we're moving on to Raw Umber, PBR 6. Where is my Raw Umber? There you are. So this is a much more earthy colour. Doesn't have the kind of red tinge to it that the Earth of Cyprus does. There is our Raw Umber. Now, Van Dyke Brown. I think that's one of my newer ones I do not have. Here we go. I don't have that on this palette, so we'll get a bit out of the tube. I think this is one of those ones that most people will either have this or they will have sepia on their palettes. That's why at the moment I only have sepia on my palette, not the Van Dyke Brown. But it is a lovely colour. And sepia is what's next. So the Van Dyke Brown was PBR 8. And we can compare that to the sepia, which is PBR 6 and PBK 6. So not a single pigment like the Van Dyke Brown, but you can see that it is darker. Right, moving on to neutral tint. I actually really like this particular neutral tint. It's PBK 6, PV19 and PB15:3. So I'm pretty sure it's got dioxazine purple in it and a phthalo blue. And I'm going to try and water down a bit of that because then I think you get to see it a bit better. There we go. Let's move on to Rose Madder. Rose Madder. I've put that as NR9. Okay. Perhaps I meant PR9. I will grab the tube in a moment and double check. Let's find Rose Madder. Where are you? There you are. Let's double check what it says on here with my magnifying glass at the ready. What do we have? Oh, light fast staining. Oh, I've got some paint over it. No wonder I can't see it. Let's just try and get that off. It's a mucky tube with paint on it. Right, that's better. Let's have a look. Light fast, low staining, granulation fine, transparency transparent, but where is the pig? Oh, NR9. Okay. It definitely says NR9. Oh, natural. Natural? Perhaps that stands for natural. Right, moving on to Scarlet Lake. Well, it's actually Scarlet Lake Light. PR188. I really like this red. I don't go for lots of reds, to be honest, but I like this one. Quinacridone Coral is PR209. So quinacridone Coral. There we go. Then we've got Payne's Grey. Payne's Grey in Michael Harding is made up of PBK9, PB29, and PY42. I think it's rather a nice Payne's Grey. It's got quite a bluey tinge to it. And our final one is Vine Black. And I don't have that in my palette. Right, okay. Let us find, there we go, Vine Black. Now, I would say that this is quite a warm black. Right, let's put the lid back on that one. So, there we are. Let me dry these off. So, I'll be back in a tick. So here we are. This is all 38 colours that I have. I'll bring them up, bring them all up closer, but I thought it might be quite nice to just see them all there all together, all the 38 that I have. I think I've got quite a good selection of kind of neutral. Then we've got some yellows into orange. I've got a nice selection of greens. I've got a purple. Got a couple of convenience kind of colours. Then we're moving into all of the different blues, which I've got quite a lot of. And then up here we've got browns into the neutral tint. And then we've got a few kind of red type colours, a Payne's Grey and a black. So I think I've got a pretty good selection of colours here. But there are some spaces on here so that I can add to it. But let's bring these up closer for you then. Let me try and get that in So, and put it at the right angle, hopefully. So there we go. You can see warm white, Titan buff, lemon ochre, Turner's yellow, new gamboge, yellow ochre deep. We've got our quinacridone bronze, bright green lake, moss green, olive green, forest green and perylene green, belladonna. And then if we look at moonlight and purple haze, you can now see the difference. One has definitely got more of a reddy pink tinge. The moonlight and the purple haze is definitely got that kind of orangey, slight orangey tinge to it. Moving on to our blues with lavender, cobalt teal, vivid blue, blue verditer. We can see the lovely granulation in the lapis lazuli. Also lots of granulation in the cobalt blue deep and the ultramarine. These two granulate a lot. Then we've got the phthalo blue lake, indigo and cosmic blue. And then swapping over and bringing these up closer. Red ochre of France, burnt sienna, earth of Cyprus, raw umber. You can see that the red ochre of France, the earth of Cyprus, the raw umber, Van Dyke brown, they're all quite granulating. Then we've got sepia, we've got our neutral tint, rose madder that's got a bit of granulation going on, scarlet lake light, quinacridone coral, Payne's grey, and then even the vine black has got a little bit of granulation going on. So yeah, I have to do it that way around to get them all back in. Where are we? There we are again. So that is all of my 38 Michael Harding tubes that I have. As far as I know, they don't do half pans or full pans. It is just tubes. But to me, these are my go-to. My Michael Harding palette is my main palette. It's the one I use the most, although I do love some other colours in other palettes as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that's going to be useful for some of you that maybe are trying out Michael Harding for the first time. Okay, stay safe, stay healthy, stay calm until I see you next time, hopefully. Bye for now.